Picture the Mamluk Sultanate, Egypt and Syria, ruled by military might. A boy named Shaban was born, grandson of Sultan al Ashraf Muhammad. Shaban's childhood unfolded within the Cairo citadel, surrounded by ambitious emirs. In 1363, the reigning Sultan, Al-Mansur Muhammad, was deposed. Al-Mansur Muhammad was a young and inexperienced sultan whose short reign was marked by instability and the influence of powerful emirs. The emirs chose 10-year-old Shaban, young and of royal lineage. They crowned him Sultan al Ashraf, but the title came without real power. Shaban's story was just beginning, a tale of ambition and danger. The boy who would be sultan prepared for the storm to come, and the Game of Thrones was only just beginning. Al-Ashraf Shaban was sultan in name, but real power belonged to his regent, Emir Yalbuga al-Umari. Yalbuga, a ruthless general, controlled every aspect of Shaban's life: education, friendships, even his daily routine. The young sultan was watched constantly, his every move scrutinized. Yalbuga's goal: keep Shaban weak and dependent. But beneath the surface, Shaban was quietly learning. He observed the rivalries among the emirs and the resentment brewing against Yalbuga's harsh rule. The Mamluk Sultanate was a fractured realm, its elite slave soldiers loyal only to their commanders. Shaban endured, biding his time as the emir's discontent grew. He played the part of the obedient child king, but his mind was sharp and his patience long. The cracks in Yalbuga's authority widened, and Shaban saw opportunity in the unrest. He knew that survival meant outsmarting those who sought to control him. The boy king was growing up, and so was his ambition. In the shadows of the court, Shaban waited for his moment. The struggle for real power was about to begin. The throne was a seat of thorns, but Shaban was learning how to endure the pain. The emirs underestimated him. Soon they would regret it. By 1366, Shaban was a teenager, and the court was a powder keg. Yalbuga's cruelty had made him enemies, and a conspiracy formed among the senior emirs. They approached Shaban, offering him a chance to break free. It was a dangerous gamble. Failure meant death. Shaban chose to act. The revolt was swift and violent. Cairo's streets ran with the chaos of factional fighting. Shaban sided with the rebels, lending legitimacy to their cause. Yalbuga was abandoned, captured, and eliminated. At 13, Shaban had helped topple the most powerful man in the empire. But freedom brought new challenges. The emirs who aided him now expected to rule through him. Shaban, however, had tasted power and wanted more. He began to play the emirs against each other, favoring one faction then another. He promoted loyalists, building his own power base. No longer a pawn, Shaban became a player in the deadly game of court politics. He rewarded loyalty and punished betrayal, weaving a web of alliances and rivalries. The court was a nest of intrigue, and Shaban was at its center. Slowly, he consolidated his authority. The boy who had been controlled was now pulling the strings. Shaban was transforming into a true sultan, cunning, ruthless, and determined to rule. His rise was a masterclass in survival. The Mamluk court would never be the same. Shaban's reign was just beginning. The game was his to play. With his throne secure, Sultan Shaban set out to leave his mark. He launched ambitious building projects, most notably the madrasa of Sultan Shaban in Cairo, honoring his mother. This grand complex was both a religious school and a statement of power. Shaban's construction projects elevated his prestige and immortalized his name. He also restored the sacred mosques of Mecca and Medina, enhancing his reputation across the Islamic world. Beyond architecture, Shaban tackled the Sultanate's financial chaos. He tried to reform the corrupt administration and centralize control, facing fierce resistance from entrenched emirs. Despite obstacles, his efforts showed a ruler thinking beyond his own survival. Shaban balanced military strength with diplomacy, maintaining the Sultanate's influence in the region. He faced threats from Cyprus and managed foreign relations with skill. His reign brought a measure of stability and respect to the Mamluk state. Shaban was more than a survivor. He was a builder and a statesman. His legacy was taking shape in stone and policy. The boy king was now a ruler in his own right. But new challenges loomed on the horizon. The struggle for power was far from over. In 1376, Shaban made a bold move. He performed the Hajj, the pilgrimage to Mecca. For a sultan, leaving Cairo was risky, but Shaban felt secure in his power. He traveled with a grand entourage, distributing charity and repairing pilgrim routes. The journey was a display of piety and authority, strengthening his legitimacy as guardian of the holy cities. The pilgrimage reinforced his image as a devout and generous ruler, but the cost was immense, straining the treasury and forcing new taxes. Resentment simmered among the emirs, especially as Shaban's confidence grew. His autocratic style began to alienate former allies. The very success that enabled his pilgrimage now bred new tensions. The seeds of discord were sown among the powerful Circassian emirs. Shaban's authority was at its peak, but cracks were forming beneath the surface. The pilgrim king had reached the height of his power, but in the Mamluk court no triumph went unchallenged. The storm was coming. In his final years, Shaban faced betrayal from within. The Circassian emirs, led by the ambitious Barkuk, saw Shaban as an obstacle. Discontent spread, and in 1377, revolt erupted in Cairo. Shaban's loyalists were overwhelmed. He was cut off and isolated. The Sultan tried to flee, but was captured. Forced to abdicate in favor of his young son, Shaban's fate was sealed. He was executed at just 21. Shaban's 14-year reign brought stability and grandeur, but he was ultimately consumed by the ruthless system he navigated. His story is a testament to the perilous nature of Mamluk politics. From pawn to master, Shaban's journey was both triumphant and tragic. His legacy endures in Cairo's stones and in the lessons of power's fleeting nature. The boy who would be Sultan became a legend and a warning.